arresting my own brother over and over again?
Maybe you should stop arresting your brother over and over and over again.
You think this is a joke?
No, I don't.
Is this how you want to leave your mark on the world, huh? Now look, for all we know, we may be able to pass you through their security, because you're not a normal viral terrorist.
So, well, of course, we're here to talk about Infamous Second Son, the third game. Sort of Festival of Blood was not quite a game.
It's a standalone game, but it was a shorter version, yeah. So maybe 2.5. I guess this is the third.
This is the proper number.
But the thing to note about Second Son, though, is it is a standalone game. But, is it a continuation of the Infamous series? Sure. However, brand new hero, brand new story, so you got a lot of things in this game. And you don't have to have played the last two games to play this one.
But I guess there's also a shared DNA that you want to sort of maintain and make sure that it's in every Infamous thing out there.
Oh, absolutely. The Infamous series, at its core, it's about this ordinary guy who happens to get powers, and you need to decide what to do with it. Same instance here, So it's instead of Cole McGrath, we have Delson Rowe. Going about his business, you'll get to experience his origin story, and he's got the greatest power of all. He gets to absorb any other conduit's power. So whatever power he touches or whatever conduit he touches, he gets that power. Great power to have.
I guess when sort of the decision was made to let players decide the fate of Cole, what was that like in the studio, and what were people rooting for one side or the other, or what went on there?
Well, I think the consensus was that we followed the trophy data, but if you were to ask Nate Fox, our game director, he would sit there and say, well, wow, the world was set up really cool at the bad ending, and we were prepared to really go for it at the bad ending and have all these conduits running around the world. But the players chose, and that's the beauty of Infamous. It's from its DNA, as we were discussing. It's about choice, and I don't think the players really knew in Infamous 2 that they were making a choice of how the game would continue with the next version, right? And here we are today.
So maybe there's sort of a parallel dimension, Infamous 3, where Cole is actually still alive.
Well, no, Cole's dead. He's dead. This is taken 7 years after Cole died, and the players.
Talking about an alternate reality.
Alternate reality. Oh, maybe if most gamers can do that. With our UGC from Infamous 2, maybe they can do something with that. But no, this one is it's Delson Rowe's front and center in this one, Second Son.
So what was it like? I mean, I guess you were pretty much from the get-go let know that this is going to be on PlayStation 4. Was that always the plan with this, and sort of what stage did you get in on that?
Well, it's definitely the plan for PlayStation 4. At Sucker Punch, we've been in existence since '97. We started off with Rocket, Robot on Wheels, and then moved into Sly Cooper, I think Sly Raccoon in this territory, and then Infamous. And that's, since Infamous 2, I think we were actually bought out by Sony. And so we've been exclusive to Sony since Sly 1, right? So every game we've made except Rocket, which was on Nintendo, we've made for Sony. So it's just a natural evolution of our partnership. And since our buyout, of course, we're going to be exclusive to PS4. But there was never even thought of going anywhere else other than that.
No, but I mean, it's like you have to be among the first to sort of get your hands on the hardware and to sort of experiment on it and sort of, that sort of thing. It's got to be exciting for a developer to be in sort of at ground zero when something new is coming like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we're fortunate enough to get some of that technology early, but being in the launch window of the PS4 was a nice challenge as well. And launching here, coming up in March 21st, it's been a blessing really to be able to be within the family and get some of those advantages that you discuss. And we're working through it, and hopefully we're going to make a fun game for y'all.
So on the sort of the technical side of things, you must have the tech has certainly moved on. I mean, this game looks awesome on PS4. Could you tell us a little bit about how you're working with that and sort of what kind of?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first thing you'll notice as far as our storytelling, you're going to see 3D cutscenes now. Right, as far as our continuation. Now we still have our beloved 2D cutscenes where we tell the story, the backstory of all the other conduits that Delson meets. But the main story connection now is done in 3D, and that's all with new mocap for us. The facial animation that you're seeing now displayed, you see all the close-ups when Delson's talking to Reggie, and you get that emotion in there. And the actors are just, you know, the way that you can get their facial expressions now really pinpointed. It's just amazing. And then you move back into more of the presentation with the, you know, powers. Our game's about powers, and, you know, to show the powers in all its glory, you're going to need a lot of particle effects and a lot of special effects and lots of things flying around on that screen. So without the processing power, there's a lot of things in Second Son that we probably couldn't have done on PS3, but we're able to do that now on PS4. But that also presents a challenge because you're able to do all those things, so you've got to meet that challenge as well.
Another thing is that you're actually sort of approaching your hometown in this game. You're sort of capturing that. What's that like? I mean, I get it. I guess it's like it's an opportunity for everyone in the studio to sort of add their own little touch to, you know, to have sort of a direct connection to the in-game city.
Yeah, I mean, how many development teams out there get to say they get to recreate their own city, right? So it's definitely an advantage. We could have our guys and everybody go down and take reference shots, right? It's pretty easy to go and to get into a car and go 5 minutes and take that shot of that building, come back, model it, do what you need to do. But yeah, you know, so being in the vicinity of Seattle, it definitely helped doing that. The inspiration, of course, the biggest iconic building in Seattle is the Space Needle, and I couldn't see us calling that Galactic Tower or something like that. So, you know, when the Space Needle's there, we went for it, and I think everybody's really happy with the Seattle that we're building. Now, I'm not to say that you come to Seattle and you're going to see a 1-for-1 or anything like that. You're not going to go and take a tour through our city. But there are many instances where you see an example in our game, and if you went to the city of Seattle and you were in that spot, you're like, wow, that's really close. And so there are those eye-awakening moments.
And perhaps you have to tune down the number of coffee shops in there, just so it seems realistic to someone who hasn't been there.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny you mentioned that, because I was just talking to Nate last night, and we were talking. It's like, oh, gosh, if we looked outside our office windows, how many Starbucks are out there? And there's 4 or 5. You know, just looking out our windows, there's one on every corner. So you're absolutely right about the coffee shops. Not as many coffee shops in our city.
It's a good source of neon, perhaps, at least.
That's absolutely true. That you're right on point there with all like the storefronts and everything, the signs, and, you know, presents a lot of neon opportunities. Let's just say that. There's not going to be a problem finding any neon resources for Delson. Let's say that.
Maybe you even kicked around the idea of coffee as a superpower.
I think just drinking that gives you the superpower. You don't need to necessarily touch anybody for that.
So I guess it's most of the guys at the studio perhaps on vacation now. Are you taking some time off now?
You're absolutely right. I mean, Nate and I are working over here doing the European thing, but there's a lot of guys back home taking some time off, you know, and that's going to continue for a little bit, and then we're going to kick into making some meetings and seeing what we're going to do.
How many years have you worked on this? Did you start immediately after Festival of Blood, or even before that?
Even before that, I mean, Festival of Blood was in production, and that's, you know, that came out in October, I think, of that year. It's about 5-6 months later. So we were working on Festival of Blood, but there was another team. Not another team. We were only one team, but another part of the company was starting to create Second Son and seeing where we were going to go with that. So definitely, right after Infamous 2, we jumped right into it.
As soon as you knew what kind of game you were going to build.
As soon as Sony greenlit what game we were going to make, we were there.
And the players had decided what?
Yeah, well, that came about a couple weeks later after we did the research to see what was going on, and we just started taking that analysis, and you know, it was overwhelmingly. It wasn't close. Let's just say that.
Okay, do you have any sort of thoughts that maybe this game will influence something in the future, or are you leaving that completely open?
Yeah, that's one of those things. Is it's completely open. I mean, we never know what we're gonna do. I mean, that's not even
far off in the future.
Well, it's not too far off, but you know, it's still in the future. That's for sure.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Gamereactor.